There's a moment we all face when someone we care about suddenly pulls away, leaving us silent, ignored, or worse, rejected without explanation. That aching uncertainty crashes through our sense of worth, making us question everything. Why did they leave? What did I do wrong? It's a space filled with shadows of doubt and loneliness, tempting us to fill the silence with blame or desperation. Yet here lies a profound truth hidden beneath the pain. Not every silence signals rejection, and in that very void, a powerful opportunity to rise stronger awaits. This video dives deep into that raw, painful experience and flips it through the lens of Stoicism, the ancient wisdom of emotional resilience and self-mastery. We'll explore why giving space is not a sign of defeat, but an act of courage for both you and the other person to confront internal battles alone. How the key to breaking free from insecurity is not in chasing validation, but in reclaiming your own presence, nurturing your self-worth, and embracing the silence as fertile ground for reflection and growth. You will be guided through the art of clear communication, the vital practice of gratitude, and the transformative power of emotional freedom. We'll dismantle the trap of desperation and show you how to redirect your focus inward, to build a fortress within that no absence can shake. Ultimately, you'll discover that when someone steps away, it's not a door closing forever. It's an invitation to strengthen your dignity, deepen your self-love, and rise into a life lived on your own terms. Prepare to embark on a journey from pain to power, from invisibility to presence, where your true strength is born, not from others' approval, but from a steady, unyielding connection with yourself. This is not just about surviving rejection. It's about flourishing through it, cultivating a freedom that no silence can ever take away. Stay with me until the end, and let's uncover your true power to rise. If this is making sense to you so far, if you feel a glimmer of recognition in these ancient truths applied to modern heartaches, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear this message of resilience. Your support helps these ideas reach more people seeking strength and clarity in an often confusing world. Now let's continue our journey. We've acknowledged the profound discomfort, the gnawing doubt that arises when someone pulls away. We understand the initial temptation to chase, to demand answers, to fill the silence with our own anxieties. But as Stoics, we learn to pause. We learn to distinguish between what is truly ours to control and what lies firmly outside our sphere of influence. The actions of another, their reasons, their choices, these are externals. What is ours, always and uncompromisingly, is our perception, our judgment, our response. Reclaiming your presence, embracing the silence as fertile ground. When someone steps back, a vacuum is created. The untrained mind, habituated to constant external stimulation and validation, rushes to fill it with panic, speculation, and self-blame. This is the moment the Stoic in us recognizes a profound opportunity. This silence, this absence, is not a void to be frantically filled, but a fertile ground, an empty canvas, awaiting your deliberate creation. It's an invitation, not to wallow, but to reclaim your own presence. Think of it. For so long, perhaps without even realizing it, a part of your mental and emotional real estate was occupied by the other person. Their moods, their expectations, their presence. Their absence suddenly frees up that space. What will you do with it? Will you let it become a wasteland of worry? Or will you cultivate it into an inner garden of self-discovery and growth? This is where the Stoic practice of turning inward truly begins to shine. Instead of constantly looking outward, wondering what they're doing, what they're thinking, why they're not reaching out, redirect that immense energy. Turn it back on yourself. This is not selfish. It is self-preservation and ultimately self-mastery. Ask yourself, with radical honesty, what have I neglected in myself while focusing on this connection? Have you let your hobbies gather dust? Have you postponed personal projects, learning new skills, or simply spending quality time with yourself? Have you sacrificed your own routine, your own peace, in an attempt to accommodate someone else's unpredictable patterns? The silence then becomes a crucible. It forces you to confront yourself without the distraction of another's gaze. It's a chance to rebuild your inner citadel, that fortress of character and virtue that Marcus Aurelius so often spoke of. This citadel is not built with walls of stone, but with habits of mind, self-awareness, self-discipline, and a steadfast commitment to your own values. For instance, consider the modern pursuit of self-improvement. Many of us say we want to read more, exercise more, meditate, or pursue a passion project. But how often do these intentions fall by the wayside when the demands or distractions of a relationship arise? When someone pulls away, they inadvertently hand you back the time and mental bandwidth that was previously allocated to them. This is a gift, however painful it may initially feel. Use it. Pick up that book. Go for that run. Spend 15 minutes in quiet reflection, observing your thoughts without judgment. By consciously choosing to invest in yourself during this period, you're not just passing the time. You are actively strengthening your sense of self-worth. You are demonstrating to yourself, through your actions, that your value is inherent, not contingent upon another person's attention or approval. You are proving that you are a complete, capable individual, deserving of your own time and effort, whether someone is present in your life or not. This is the essence of true self-respect, a virtue that Stoics hold in the highest regard. Your presence, your very being, becomes your anchor, unshaken by the ebb and flow of external relationships. The art of clear communication, speaking from a place of virtue. Now, while embracing the silence for self-cultivation is crucial, it does not mean retreating into an isolated shell indefinitely. There comes a point when a genuine, honest attempt at communication may be appropriate. But crucially, it must be approached from a Stoic mindset, one free from desperation, manipulation, or a demand for a specific outcome. This is the art of clear communication, speaking from a place of virtue, not from a place of perceived need. The Stoic approach to communication is rooted in several key principles. 1. Wisdom, Sophia. Before speaking, discern if communication is truly necessary, what its purpose is, and if the timing is appropriate. Is your intent to genuinely understand or merely to assuage your own anxiety? 2. Justice, dikaiosine. Seek fairness and truth. Avoid accusations, blame, or attempts to make the other person feel guilty. Present your feelings and observations without judgment. 3. Courage. It takes courage to be vulnerable and express your feelings honestly, but also courage to accept whatever response, or lack thereof, may come. 4. Temperance, sophrosyne. Exercise self-control in your words and tone. Avoid emotional outbursts, aggressive demands, or pleading. Maintain dignity and composure. When someone has pulled away, the first step is often to respect their space. If, After a period of respectful silence and self-reflection, you feel compelled to reach out. Your message should be brief, clear, and focused on your experience, not on their perceived failings. A common mistake is to bombard the person with questions. Why are you ignoring me? What did I do? Are you mad? These questions, though born of pain, often come across as demanding and can further push someone away. Instead, a Stoic approach might involve a simple, honest statement of your feelings, framed without expectation. For example, instead of "Why aren't you responding to my texts?" consider something like, "I've noticed a distance between us, and I'm not sure what's going on. I value our connection, and I'd like to understand if there's something I can do or if you simply need space." No pressure to respond, but I wanted to express that. Notice the elements here. Observation, not accusation. I've noticed a distance, rather than "you're ignoring me." Focus on self. I'm not sure what's going on. I value our connection. I'd like to understand. Open-ended, non-demanding. If there's something I can do or if you simply need space. Respectful of their autonomy. No pressure to respond. This kind of communication demonstrates maturity and self-possession. It opens a door without pushing. It expresses care without desperation. You've done your part by communicating clearly and respectfully, aligning your actions with the virtue of honesty. The outcome, however, remains an external, something not fully within your control. And this is the crucial Stoic acceptance. You cannot force someone to communicate, just as you cannot force them to stay. If they choose not to respond, or to respond in a way that provides no clarity, you accept this as part of the external reality. Your peace then comes from knowing you acted virtuously, not from achieving a specific desired result. Your integrity remains intact, regardless of their reaction. This freedom from attachment to outcomes is a cornerstone of Stoic emotional resilience. You act rightly and let the chips fall where they may. The vital practice of gratitude, finding abundance amidst scarcity. When someone you care about pulls away, it's easy to focus on what's missing, the connection, the shared moments, the future you might have envisioned. This scarcity mindset breeds resentment and sorrow. But the Stoic path offers a powerful antidote, the vital practice of gratitude. Gratitude, for a Stoic, is not about pretending everything is fine when it's not, nor is it a Pollyanna-ish denial of pain. It is a deliberate, conscious act of shifting your focus from what has been lost or is absent to what you still possess, what you have experienced, and what lessons this moment offers. It's about appreciating the impermanence of all things. Understanding that every moment, every relationship, is a gift on loan, not an entitlement. Think about the time you did share with this person. Were there moments of joy, laughter, support, or growth? Can you be grateful for those moments? Acknowledging that they were real, they happened, and they contributed to your life, even if the chapter is now closing or changing. Seneca reminds us, "He is rich who is content with the least, for contentment is the natural wealth." In the context of relationships, this means being rich in gratitude for the experiences, not perpetually poor in craving for what might have been or what is now gone. This isn't about ignoring the pain of absence. It's about adding another layer to your emotional landscape. You can feel sadness for a connection that has changed or ended, and simultaneous gratitude for the good that it brought. This dual perspective is a sign of emotional maturity and Stoic wisdom. Consider a practical exercise. Take a few minutes each day to actively list things you are grateful for related to this situation, however small. I am grateful for the laughter we shared on that trip. I am grateful for the insight I gained about myself through this relationship. I am grateful for the time I now have to devote to my own well-being. I am grateful for the opportunity this silence provides me to reflect on my own needs. I am grateful for the other supportive people who remain in my life. This practice reconditions your mind. It trains your attention away from the magnetic pull of what's missing and towards the abundance that still exists. It reminds you that your life is not solely defined by one relationship or one person's presence. It encourages amor fati, the love of fate, embracing everything that happens, not just the pleasant things, but also the challenges and changes as opportunities for growth. Moreover, practicing gratitude during moments of perceived rejection strengthens your inner resolve. It makes you less dependent on external validation for your happiness. If your well-being hinges entirely on another person's consistent presence and approval, you are perpetually vulnerable. But if you can find reasons for gratitude, even in their absence, you are cultivating an inner source of contentment that no external force can easily diminish. This is true freedom, the freedom from external reliance for your joy. You become, in essence, a wellspring of your own happiness, capable of finding light, even when shadows fall. Dismantling the trap of desperation and building an inner fortress. One of the most insidious consequences of someone pulling away is the activation of desperation. This manifests as an overwhelming urge to chase, to plead, to manipulate, to sacrifice one's dignity in a desperate attempt to regain what feels lost. From a Stoic perspective, desperation is a dangerous passion, a disturbance of the mind that blinds us to reason and compromises our integrity. It leads to actions we often regret, further eroding our self-respect. The trap of desperation is sprung when we allow our happiness to become entirely dependent on an external factor, in this case, the presence, attention, or affection of another person. The Stoics teach us that true happiness, or eudaimonia, comes from living in accordance with virtue and reason, from within ourselves. When we place our contentment outside of our control, we surrender our peace. To dismantle this trap, we must rigorously apply the dichotomy of control. Their actions, their feelings, their decision to withdraw, these are external. Your dignity, your self-respect, your choice to act virtuously, these are internal and entirely within your control. Desperation is a futile attempt to control the uncontrollable. It's like trying to stop the tide with your bare hands, exhausting and ultimately fruitless. Instead of chasing, redirect that energy inward. This is not about being passive. It's about being strategically active in fortifying your inner world. This is the continuous construction of your inner fortress, a metaphor often used by Marcus Aurelius to describe the self-sufficient mind, impervious to external storms. How do you build this fortress? 1. Re-establish boundaries. This isn't just about boundaries with others, but with yourself. Set a boundary that you will not repeatedly contact someone who has clearly indicated they need space or are unresponsive. Set a boundary that you will not endlessly ruminate on what-ifs or engage in obsessive social media stalking. These are self-destructive behaviors that feed desperation. 2. Focus on your purpose. What are your life goals, your values, your personal mission. When we lose sight of our own purpose, the absence of another can feel like a gaping hole. Re-engaging with your own purpose reminds you that your life has direction and meaning, independent of any single relationship. 3. Engage in virtuous action. If you're feeling restless, channel that energy into something constructive. Help someone else. Learn something new. Create something. Exercise. These actions align with Stoic virtues, benevolence, wisdom, temperance, and generate a sense of accomplishment and self-worth, pushing desperation to the sidelines. Practice indifference to indifference. The Stoics categorize things into good, virtue, bad, vice, and indifferent. The presence or absence of a particular person, while preferred, is ultimately an indifferent. It is neither inherently good nor bad in itself. It is our judgment of it that makes it so. By recognizing it as an indifferent, we reduce its power to disturb our peace. It doesn't mean you don't care, but it means you don't allow it to dictate your inner state. Consider the modern scenario. You're constantly checking your phone, hoping for a message. Every notification from someone else feels like a letdown. This is desperation in action. To build your fortress, you might implement a digital detox for certain hours. Engage in a hobby that demands your full attention, or consciously direct your thoughts when they veer towards obsessive rumination. You are actively choosing your response, exercising your faculty of reason over your impulsive passions. The inner fortress is not a place of cold isolation. It is a place of secure self-possession. It's where your authentic self resides, unperturbed by the vagaries of external relationships. When you have this inner strength, you approach relationships not from a place of desperate need, but from a place of abundance. You choose to share your already complete self, rather than seeking completeness from another. This makes you a more attractive and stable partner, should the relationship re-engage, and a far more peaceful individual if it does not. Emotional freedom and rising on your own terms. The ultimate destination on this Stoic journey, when someone pulls away, is emotional freedom. This is not apathy, not an absence of feeling, but apatheia, freedom from irrational and disturbing passions. It's the ability to experience emotions like sadness or disappointment without allowing them to overwhelm your reason or dictate your actions in a self-destructive manner. It is the wisdom to understand that while pain is inevitable, suffering is often optional, a product of our judgments and attachment. Rising on your own terms means reclaiming the narrative of your life. For too long, perhaps, the story you told yourself included this other person as a central character, their presence defining your happiness, their absence defining your sorrow. Emotional freedom allows you to rewrite that narrative, placing yourself firmly at the center, as the protagonist of your own flourishing. This means defining your own success, not by the metrics of external approval or relationship status, but by your internal compass of virtue and integrity. What does a life well lived look like to you? What values do you uphold, irrespective of others' opinions? What legacy do you wish to leave in your own small corner of the world? When you build your life around these questions, based on your own terms, the absence of another person becomes less of a gaping wound and more of a specific challenge, one among many, that you are equipped to navigate. You realize that your inherent worth is not something that can be given or taken away by another individual. It is an immutable truth, waiting for you to recognize and embrace it. Consider the metaphor of a ship. When another ship pulls away from the harbor, your ship doesn't sink. Your ship still has its own compass, its own sails, its own destination. It continues its journey. This is your life. You are the captain of your soul, guided by your reason and virtues. Their departure, while perhaps causing a temporary emotional swell, does not dictate the course of your vessel. Emotional freedom also manifests as the ability to genuinely wish another person well, even if their path diverged from yours. This is not forced forgiveness, but a release of the mental burden of resentment or bitterness. It's an understanding that everyone is acting from their own perceptions, their own challenges, and their own limited understanding. Holding on to anger or hurt only poisons your own well-being. By letting go, you free yourself. Ultimately, when someone steps away, it's not a door closing forever. It's an invitation to strengthen your dignity, deepen your self-love, and rise into a life lived on your own terms. This journey from pain to power, from invisibility to presence, is where your true strength is born. Not from others' approval, but from a steady, unyielding connection with yourself. You are discovering that you are enough, complete within yourself, capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and resilience. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When someone pulls away, much of our suffering comes from the stories we tell ourselves about their actions, about our worth, about the dire implications of their absence. This Stoic path offers you the tools to rewrite those stories, to ground yourself in reality, and to find peace not in what you can control others to do, but in how you choose to respond, how you choose to grow. So I ask you, when the world falls silent around you, when the comfort of another's presence is withdrawn, will you crumble under the weight of external circumstances? Or will you choose to build, to reflect, to grow, and to shine from within? The choice, my friend, is always yours. It always has been. If you found value in this conversation, if it resonated with a part of you seeking strength and clarity, please do like this video, subscribe to the channel for more insights on applying ancient wisdom to modern life, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. How do you plan to reclaim your presence and build your inner fortress when faced with the silence of another? Your experience can be a light for others on this shared journey. Until next time, stay strong, stay virtuous, and master your inner world.